Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the UK League Championship. And we are here for the Week 6 finals, as it is going to be XL taking on MnM. And the winner of this will then ascend to the top of the tower to take on Diabolus in our Tower Challenge as our fourth and final game of the day. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this game, there's a little bit more nitty and gritty stuff that we do need to talk about. Now, with that win, XL beating out Phelan does mean that our playoff spots are now secured. So Diabolus, who are currently in first, Fnatic in currently second, MnM and XL, who are about to play, all four of those teams are now locked for playoffs, but they are still playing for points. Like you said at the beginning of the show, first place is still up for grabs. By guaranteeing yourself at least a play-in spot at the European Masters is still up for grabs.
Any of the teams that could get that spot, and also there's going to be the seeding coming into playoffs. I believe it's going to be first place fourth, second place third. So you want to get that favorable matchup where you're against a team that has performed a bit worse.
I mean, all of these teams are looking pretty good though. It's hard.
It's a bit of a toss-up.
Yeah, it's kind of like, who would you rather play?
It's been all best of ones. Like, go into a best of three, it's a very different environment, and I don't think there's a good choice for any of the teams. It's just, you got to come in confident. And I think getting first place is more about, okay, we guarantee that EU Master spot, and we're coming in as a #1 team, and we're confident about it.
And now, also, with that win, it also changes something else a little bit lower down in the table. Enclave, while they are now locked out of relegation, so they can't be relegated, they can't make playoffs, so they're kind of stuck in limbo, like, kind of in limbo and purgatory. But it's not all over for them because of the fact that Forge of Champions is going to be our next tournament, starting up after the UKLC has ended and after EU Masters is done. And they now dodge at least the first round of Forge of Champions, so they'll get through to the second stage of that tournament, which is nice for them.
So there's always something nice.
Yeah, you know, you're not going to be relegated. You skip a round of Forge of Champions, you're feeling pretty comfortable. But
better than nothing.
Two teams who are maybe feeling a little bit antsy right now is going to be XL and MnM. They know how much is on the line, and this goes back to a game we had about, I think it was 3 weeks ago, where the first LEC sister team was slayed, and they were slain by MnM.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think since then, it's been a balance of upward form from the likes of Diabolus and MnM, but also XL and Fnatic really look shaken. And they had great starts to split where it looked like those two would be the top dogs, but since then, it's been hit or miss, particularly with XL, who've had some rough performances. So they need to redeem themselves here, because if they can still get their hands on that #1 spot, but they have to come out here, get the win against Diabolus, and just keep performing next week if they want to keep that alive.
I mean, there's a miracle run is still needed by both of these teams, really, if they want to at least secure enough points. I mean, if you're MnM XL, what are you looking at coming into this? Because XL have had a pretty good game coming back after yesterday's games versus Bulldogs. They did not look like one of our top caliber teams. Yeah. They struggled versus a 1-point team. Then you look at MnM and they've been up and down. It's been a roller coaster with them. Some weeks they've looked like one of the best teams, and we're all going, how has this team not been? How have we not been thinking this team is not one of the best teams? And then the week after that, they kind of play pretty substandard, and we are, oh, that's why we were misdoubting them. So they need to make sure that they continue to play on this high. The last game was a good game for them. They look very clean. They look very comfortable versus Phelan. They are in a tougher challenge here versus XL, but we've seen them beat this team before, and they know that XL have had a rough 2 weeks.
Well, I think the area where XL's always excelled is, like, XL has excelled. Anyway,
yeah,
playing around things like the 1-3-1. When they get XL on the rise, he does a lot of work, so I think they should try and cut that out. You do not want that to be a win condition for them. And then the team fighting from MnM has often been really good. You see them in goal deficits against the likes of Fnatic Rising, winning team fights and getting back in the game. So if you pick a composition that's easy to execute, team fights well, has an element of scaling, and then you just ban away stuff that can split push effectively a 1-3-1, I think MnM were in a good position to really take this, because even in the game against Enclave, which XL won, there was team fights that they lost. There was that one with a great engage from Vizek, and I just feel like MnM have shown they are good at team fighting. If they just bring that same sort of level into this game and they give a composition that facilitates that, I think they could be in a good position.
It's really hard for me to call this, honestly. I mean, it's more your job to kind of, make a judgment call on what you think is going to happen.
Coin and just...
Yeah. Have you got a coin?
No.
I haven't got a coin. Hey, production, have we got a coin? No. They're going to get us a coin.
We'll decide the game in a imaginary coin, and then when it's up in the air,
it's coming. You keep it in the air. It's coming.
You start to think about who you're going to commit to. So I flip it up, and I'm like, I'm feeling
Here he comes. Here he
we're
comes.
actually
Give me
getting a
that coin. Oh, you got it.
Okay.
All right. What are we saying?
Heads is MnM, because
Okay.
I have heads, and tails is XL.
All right.
It's heads.
Just to confirm.
Yep, so we are predicting MnM to win.
All right, so MnM are our team. I'm going to take this. No, I'm not. I don't need a 2P.
All right.
Yes. Man, is it really that rough? But you're like, no, you're not taking my 2P. Oh, boy.
But yeah, I mean, obviously there's the reasons we talked about before, but we've seen XL can win games, but they're always so scrappy. And in those scrappy matchups, MnM is a team that do tend to come out on top. They have Monk, who's just been so solid in their last game, but also had those winning performances on things like the Kog'Maw and the Kai'Sa. And then it feels like everyone on the team has sort of done their role. Yes, there's been mistakes. Naughty had that questionable early game in the last one where he just suicided. Mummus was getting a bit rough in the 1v1 matchups.
It's been a bit of a joke, a kind of running joke at least, but it is actually starting to become a bit of a sad joke here. Naughty dying early in the jungle.
On early game champions.
On early game champions. Is starting to become a worrying trend.
I think it might
another
be
time. I mean, it was a greedy invade when they didn't actually have priority to do it, but
I think he just gets overconfident. You pick him something like Olaf or Elise, and he's like, right, I need to make things happen, let's go, and then he dies. But you put him on something like Sejuani or Skarner, and I feel like, or Gragas, and he's much more like, okay, I'll take a little chill step back, play things smarter. So if anything, MnM should draft him something that he can't int on.
Yeah, I mean, that's always nice, not inting. That's how you typically have a higher success rate of, winning games.
Well, you wouldn't know about that, would you?
No, I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm Int Master.
Yeah.
That's my summoner name as well.
Oh,
it's not.
I didn't think so.
It was taken by you. All right, we're ready to pick some bans. See what gets taken away. I'm expecting to see a lot of kind of target bans. There's the Kog'Maw.
Is that a target ban? Did you think?
I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that might be a target ban. Monk has been so strong in this Kog'Maw, and it's just so difficult to deal with in the team fights if you don't have the tools to shut him down.
Yep.
MnM, I mean, there's a standard things that we see banned on red side, but I really do not want them to give over the Rise, and they
target
did it.
ban there.
Yeah, I said that is the big threat. Is XL on this Rise? He gets massive. He split push. He 1v1s. And we actually have a new coach coming over for XL UK, Tim Kiro. So originally they had Unlimited as their coach, and then he went over to the LEC team, so they brought in someone new. So hopefully this is what they need to rectify some of those issues. Jarvan gets taken off the table. This is pretty standard stuff. We may well see the Galio come out from MnM. Lots of stuff on the cards.
Lots of stuff available. Jarvan taken away. MnM
Vayne's
definitely thinking this out. They are thinking about that, and that is the big thing. The Vayne is open. We saw NX have such a good game on it yesterday. It was picked into them today, and XL, they went down to it. And you even said it in the last game. You shouldn't have really lost that game when you had like a 7-0 Vayne.
Yeah, I mean, it was good from XL to sort of play it out and find the windows, but it's risky to give someone like Monk a 7-0 Vayne, so I mean, I'm not sure they're going to necessarily take off the cards, but it's definitely going to be on the minds of these players. Silas gets banned away from MnM. It's had such a resurgence since it got enabled again. Yeah, Lucian Jarvan are fairly standard bans.
Yeah, it gets banned away with that Lucian. So one more ban for MnM, then we move into picks and see what is left open here for XL.
Maybe the Yorick is a potential ban. Maybe something like
the Vayne?
Vayne, yeah. I mean, we talked about it before, and clearly they see it as the issue. They don't want to give over to Inax because in their game where they fell really far behind, that was the win condition that brought them back in.
The Callista's open though, which we've seen a rise in preference here in previous weeks. We've even seen the Inax Tristana, we saw at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
So see what they decide to go for. Gonna go for that cow power pick though.
Galio's a big one. It tends to be a high priority first pick. It makes me think that maybe MnM will lead towards the Braum, as that's been the two supports at the top of priority so far. But there's a lot of options here for MnM. You can prioritize an AD carry here because you have that extra second pick, or maybe a jungler. There are options here. I want to see them give Naughty something that has some melee pressure, but not a crazy amount that he's going to end. The Lissandra has been great for Chibs though, so that would also be really solid. And like I said, easy to execute, good in team fights. That's Lissandra.
Yeah, they are going to pick that up. So does give him also like pick good team fight, gives him lots of things. 70% win rate, high success, and I mean a lot of those losses are coming off Magic Felix, man.
It's a point and click stun. It's pretty easy to play around. The roaming's really strong, and the team fighting's so good because of the passive, the frozen thralls.
Yeah.
It just means once you start to get some momentum in the team fight, it comes up really strong. So I think it's a good pick for them. Here, they could take the Braum, they could take the Kai'Sa, so they're going towards that. They want to give Monk something to carry on, and not so much on this patch, but on the previous patches, this was his go-to when Kog'Maw wasn't available, as sort of, I want to scale up and carry in. With the new Storm Razor changes, I think she's in a pretty good position. And now it sort of goes into what XL want to do in response to that. Do you want to try and pick an AD carry that can bully out early? Tristana's pretty good into it, and they're very quickly taking the Sejuani off the card. So maybe concerned about something like a Sejuani Braum, or just the fact that, you know, Nulty on these tanks is a lot harder to punish.
All right, well, Exile going to be locking in Inax a Tristana. We saw it at the beginning of the day. Pretty decent champion for Inax. It's in his wheelhouse. We know it's comfortable, good into Kai'Sa. So Exile going for a fairly strong composition so far. Their team fight would be pretty dirty. See what they try to round it after. They want to go for more split push or offering just the flat team fight. It's up to them, really.
It's going to be what they pick here. I would lean towards picking a support because you want to get that strong 2v2 lane, maybe something like the Braum, but they're going straight for that Yorick. They want to get that good matchup for Mummies, and now they're in a position where they can ban away things like the Jax from Sendo. They can ban away things that are going to be good in that 1v1 matchup. XL, on the other hand, they could target the supports. They could take away things like Braum and the Alistar, or they could go for targeting the junglers away from Nulty. If you want to get them away from things like the Skarn and the Gragas, which we know that he's a lot more comfortable on and doesn't int so hard.
I wonder if Sendo's got something like the Riven in his wheelhouse for this.
Potentially. I'm not really too much sure about the...
Could go Aatrox as well, which is kind of safer than Riven.
I mean, Yorick's just going to be a problem with the split push later on. There are things you can pick into that will do fine. They are going to ban away the Alistar. We're going to see what MnM ban, because Jax has been the big sort of go-to. Yeah. But there are other picks that can deal with the Yorick that I would say, but I'm hiding them.
Well, let's see. MnM are thinking about every pick they make. That's going to be the Renekton taken away, so another offensive lane bully.
Has a lot of pressure early, but that does leave that Aatrox as one of the strong top laners still on the cards that Sendo could pick up. I wouldn't like to see him go a tank because that's really risky in terms of win conditions, and we actually see the Thresh taken, so that Braum still available if MnM want to take it.
I feel like they first pick it, otherwise XL just take it. So
yeah, I mean,
you want to get your hand on that now.
I think it makes a lot of sense. You can leave the junglers till later so you can really round out your composition.
Unless they're baiting the Braum out and they pick something like a Zillion into it.
XL have the Galio.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to have the Galio.
Oh yeah, sorry.
support.
Yeah. I mean, in my head, I was like, Galio's still a mid, right?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, it still could be a mid laner. It's still, you could take that Braum and put the Galio mid. It's still done quite a bit in Korea, not so much in other regions, so there is possibility, but I'm not too happy with them leaning towards that. I think you put XL on something you can carry in. Cassiopeia is pretty solid. Into Lissandra has a good matchup. I think there are options, but it just depends what you want to do.
Gonna go for the Nasus. Susan's coming out here. Okay.
That is a wild
In a minute,
one.
we'll talk about that. Let's see what the rest of the picks and bans are gonna kind of round out for. They're looking for a mid laner for Exile here. What is open to him?
But most likely a mid laner. Cassiopeia is probably a big one for me. Orianna is an option. Syndra potentially, but maybe a bit immobile for my liking. So we'll just have to see what he feels comfortable on in this situation. I'm actually going for the Corki, so this is something that's really come back in the meta since the changes to the crit items. Good into Lissandra. I mean, I can't believe I missed it, but really good into Lissandra because it just scales so well. Yeah. And you can take that cleanse and the Valkyrie. It's very hard to lock you down, so good pickup for XL there. And this definitely gives a massive scaling element over the side of XL. I mean, MnM's isn't bad, but that Olaf Lissandra, you pick that for early mid-jungle pressure, not for late. And they have let the Braum go through, and unsurprisingly, Shogun picks that up. So for me, this is very much MnM need to get things going in the early mid, because later on, they're going to struggle.
Okay, now it's time we talk about it. Nasus versus the Yorick. How does this go? What are we expecting from this lane? I mean, Nasus a while back, if you haven't been following, actually did get changes to his Q, so he gets more stacks. It's easier for him to get those higher numbers. So also kind of hitting those checkpoints is, you hit those checkpoints faster, those key points on your Q stacks. What are we expecting?
Well, I think a big thing is that Yorick likes to get in melee range of people trapped in the cage, but you don't want to get in melee range of Nasus, so it's going to be the sort of matchup where they sort of can go toe-to-toe with each other. And a big thing is that Nasus can stack up on the ghouls and just queue them to get, you know, some extra +3s. I think later on, I'm not too sure how this matchup goes. I think it sort of depends on how far ahead either gets and also on the Maiden. But I think Nasus can have a pretty good fight. The one issue, though, is I feel like if Yorick cages him, he can just run away. You know, if Yorick's not going to win the 1v1, he can just run away. It's not really so much of an option for the Nasus because a chase down's pretty effective. All you can really do is slow the Yorick, but he'll just cage you then run. So yeah, I think it
I mean, you have to hope that you can get through the cage while the Wither's on, and that's harder.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, I'm curious to see how this lane goes because you could just go for the pure camp and just make sure Nasus doesn't become a champion.
Yeah, but in same in reverse, because if you set the Wither onto that Yorick and then Sejuani turns up, very easy to stack up that stun and cut them down. I think in the early levels, it depends on the jungler's pressure.
Let's have a little look at our roster. Sendo, Taxa, XL, Inax, and Kasing for XL, and MnM. There's Mumus, Nolty, Chibs, Monk, and Shogun. MnM, this will be the second game in a row here. They did just beat out Phelan in the game just before this.
Yeah, and both teams drafting some pretty wild stuff. The fact that they're willing to take that Nasus into the Yorick. There's a lot of confidence to pick that third for Mumus there.
All right, we're on to Summoner's Rift for our finals here of Week 6 of the UKLC. All to play for. First spot is still available for every team in that top 4. And you know that XL are hungry for that. They've had such a weak past few weeks here at the UKLC, and they need to try and get themselves some redemption. They want to go to European Masters. I mean, you've got 2 ex-LEC players on your roster.
I mean, not even ex-LEC, still LEC. They play in the LEC, the split. It's 10-man roster rotating. XL and Kasing are, they're very high caliber players. It shouldn't be this difficult. But it's been a bit dicey.
Maybe it's just the caliber. It's always
UKLC
been like
so
the UK scene's a meme, but maybe we've just been resident sleeper.
Yeah, we've just been so good. So I do think that MnM are going to have the better early pressure because that Olaf, Lissandra is so strong in the mid jungle compared to Corki, Sejuani, who are going to wait a bit longer before they come online. So I want to see Nolty and Chips make things happen. The first Dragon's an Infernal, which is great for MnM because when they have the pressure early, they want to be able to pick that up.
All right, well. Minions going to crash in. No shenanigans early. Junglers just doing their solo starts, both towards that top side of the map.
It's not actually a solo start for Taxa, getting help from Sendo there.
You're right.
Yeah, tend to be. It's cool because you know how they have the new indicator for where you can pick the axe up?
Yeah.
With that skin, it says Craggy Ice on the floor.
That's real cool. Big fan. Do you have to keep in mind, Exile does have some fairly decent sustain in this lane with the fact that he's got the fleet footwork on the Corki, so...
Wait, Nolty's been seen on the ward here, and he's very low.
He is very low. Are we going to get a standard Nolty start here? Taxa looks to zone him away. Don't quite have that control mid they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that you tend to get low when you're clearing a Zoloft. It's beneficial, but when you're going for the Scuttle, it's not the situation you want to be in. Shogun going pretty far forwards here.
Yeah, we're going to get a bit of damage onto Inax. Not enough to get the Void passive off.
But still quite a big chunk, and at level 2 paying dividends. But one big thing is the fact that Exile is having so much pressure in this mid lane in this matchup. And I mean, it shows the caliber of a player, the fact he's just unable to get hit by the skill shots from Lissandra. It means you can just keep trading autos and winning out.
You saw Exile just move into the river to place a ward as well. So maybe with Taxa try and go and get himself that second risk Scuttler, just deny Nolty as much as possible. But looks like he's going for his chickens. And Mumus already getting poked out. I want to track the siphoning strike stacks.
Probably not that many right now. I'll be honest.
I mean, across the game, that was more a broad. That was more a broad statement.
Fair enough.
But it's just the full clear here for Taxa. Not going to go for the Scuttle. Just wants to remain in control of his side of the map. The Infernal Drake is the first Drake up as well, so it's quite spicy. Sendo already been forced to flash here. Going to get a spade to the back of the head as Mumus trades out of him, but Sendo just getting those extra stacks from the ghouls.
I mean, that's the issue. When you fall behind at any point in HP and mana, in a position where you can't fight the Yorick, he's the one who dictates the fight because he has the cage where you can't get away from it. In any reverse situation, Mumus can often just run away because the Wither is pretty weak at this point. You aren't putting any points into it yet. And later on, he's going to be bulky enough probably just to tank it out.
The Sendo's gone for the double Doran start, wants as much mana under his belt early, wants to be able to sit and just queue for as long as possible.
Yeah, good mana and HP. And also, it's not actually too shabby because you get the AP contributes to his E damage.
Oh, okay. So I just got a little update from production. Sendo is maxing E. I have to see whether or not he just put 2 points in early for that like extra shove, especially with the double Dorans.
I think as well it helps.
Or if he's going for the Q max.
It helps the trading power because Q max is obviously for ideal stacking, but in terms of trading power, the E tends to do a lot more. It shreds the armor, as well as just pumping out more reliable damage. Because you have to be in melee range to make use of your Q, and often you're using it on the wave. So if you put more points into it, it's not going to help your trading, whereas your E is something that you want to use against Mummus, or the other option is to shove the wave.
Okay, well, Sendo needs to be a little careful here. Nolty sniffing, has got that Predator available.
But if you look at the map, there's two members closing in from the side of XL.
As the Predator's on, the Ghouls are in. They're going to slow up with a miss. The cage comes down. Taxa launches into the fight. Sendo, no flash, has found himself dead as Nolty gets first blood. Taxa tries to turn it around. Nolty's low. Minions doing damage, but Taxa goes out. It's a double kill for him.
Yeah, and the Olaf gets low and puts out so much damage. XL take it clear up, but I'm not sure what he can do.
The Ghouls are here. XL is just going to have to step away, though. Mummus actually taking a fair amount of damage. The cage is on. Valkyrie's down, and XL takes another shovel to the head.
Not a good situation to start in. The Shark really finding momentum.
All right, so you guys at home are voting towards MnM winning. 81% of you on that Twitch poll.
This is such a bad situation as well for Sendo. The reason he's coming mid is, did you see that massive wave top that's shoving into Mummus? Sendo would just miss out on so much farm, and so XL has to stay top and shove it in, and Sendo is kind of in limbo, having to go mid to pick up any CS. But Mummus is going to get a really big lead here.
Taxa has found Chips. Chips with his ultimate is going to be nice and safe. This does mean XL do have enough members around this Infernal Drake if they want to go for that. Lots of vision has been placed by MnM around this side of the river, so for now, just going to step away.
Yeah, now Sendo makes the walk towards the top side, has hit that level 6, but 2 assists over to Mummus and picking up that big wave. He will not push over to Sendo so he can pick that up himself, but Mummus in a really good position now to get a lead in this matchup. But Nolty, I mean, we said he sometimes often instant these early junglers, but he really had a good performance there. Got low on that Olaf and just pumped out so much damage and stayed alive for so long.
Nolty finds out Taxa. Blast cone. He's just helping him get to his camp quicker, right?
Yeah, it's quite nice of him, actually. Second round buffs will start to spawn, so Nolty heading over to his red. And actually, I mean, he's consistently had pressure in this lane matchup. And it is a counter, the Corki and Sandra. It's a matchup that isn't too great, but I'm not sure it's so much about the laning as it is more about the fact that you can't really punish the Corki and he scales super well. So it just sort of shows the strength of XL, that he's still applying pressure in the early levels.
Do you get stacks on wards? Is that a thing?
I think so, yeah.
So double check that.
I'm pretty sure you do. I'm like really pretty sure you do.
I don't play Nasus. Like,
I don't play him often, but I'm pretty sure you get stacks on wards.
It's actually my least played lane.
I'd bet on it if you want to take a bet right now.
You know what? You do. Okay. Well, good job I didn't take that bet.
Yeah.
It looks like with the maiden up, and
Sendo's
then grouping around this lane. Sendo is in a world of fear. His jungler is nowhere near as well. Throws down the E, can clear out the wave fairly quickly, but in comes the Predator. They've got the cage on, forces the ultimate out. Sendo so low. Mummus taking tower shot after tower shot, but he cannot stay alive for long, and he will fall
I think Nolty died. Ooh, very close. But in return, XL are going to take that Infernal Dragon, so they kill the Nasus, but at what cost? Well, the Infernal Dragon is the cost.
Yeah. The Wither actually almost got Mummus killed as well from tower shots, and
yeah.
That's a double Infernal.
I think Mummus was tanking as much as he could because he wanted Nolty to finish it off. But I mean, Mummus had flash, so maybe Nolty should have been the one to tank it. Could have used his ult to just run away from the Wither. And then Mummus could have finished him off and flashed out. But either way, the gank was clean. They got it off, so it doesn't really make too much difference. And now Nolty really strong. And we've seen so much variation in Olaf builds. You know, we've seen the full tank, I'm just going to be a meat wall build. We've seen the redemption, I'm going to facilitate my team build. When you're 3-1, I think it makes sense you're going towards that more damage build. He's going for that Black Cleaver. He wants to be able to do more in this mid game.
MnM grouping up in the bot lane. And by grouping up, I just mean their bot lane.
Interesting enough, Monk actually going for a different build compared to what has been quite more common in recent times. So when Stormrazor got the buff, if you go Stormrazor against his Rage Blade, it's a really nice 2-item spike. And you get pretty fast evolution on your E.
But he's got the Hail of Blades.
Yeah, which isn't as common when you go the Stormrazor's build. So he's going towards that the Infinity Edge Rage Blade where you go BF, double pickaxe, and get your Q evolve.
Well, top mono haven't been going so well for XL, but mid lane is going pretty good.
XL has a lot of pressure here, and Chibs, if you can't all in as Lissandra, you're not really that good in trades because your ult is such a huge part of the trading. And XL is just, he's free to just fire those rockets as much as he wants. Has the package though, so...
Yeah, it's going to cancel Chibs' base though, which is big. And with the package, he's going to be able to take down this minion, this minion wave pretty quickly.
Chunking on that tower, already has one plate down. Might well get a second here, but Nulty trying to come over and stop that from happening.
You can see the bot lane have switched out as well. Monk joining up, maybe looking to get a bit of poke onto Sendo.
Yeah, with the dragon off the table, they want to move to the side with the Rift Tile that still has the objective, but because of the rotation, Inax and Kasing are actually ahead in tempo, so you can see they're already pushing on the bot lane tower, getting damage into it. So yes, they're not going to be there to contest the Rift Herald, but they might be able to take this tower.
And with this Emax build for Sendo as well, he's actually able to clear out these waves nice and quick. XR now dodging away from a lot of abilities. Chibs has flash and ulti, but XR nice and safe with the cleanse.
Yeah, has a cleanse, so you don't want to really risk going for that play, but because they make those moves, they're not doing the Rift Herald. XL get this turret for free, and now gotta be a bit careful though. XL going aggressive top, and they don't have the numbers advantage here. You've got the tower, that's great. Not sure you're gonna be there in time to contest this Rift Herald though.
No, it's going down fairly slowly, but now with Monk joining in, the rest of the team grouping up. They actually might try and attempt this though.
It'd be a 3v4.
Clearing out the ward. They're slowly collapsing in. Exile's making his way forward as well. It's just going to be the end of the Rift Herald, but the fight might break out. Big E onto Monk, just chunks him out for the moment. You can see Taxa and Sendo now fighting. Sendo flashes away. Arctic Assault to safety. And MnM pick himself up the Rift Herald. Exile unable to contest.
Yeah, they apply some pressure, but without that bot lane being there, there's no real way to stop them from taking it. MnM get the Rift Herald, but XL in a gold lead. They have that first Infernal Dragon. We said they have the scaling advantage, so they're in a pretty good position so far.
Watch Shogun in the bush. Taxa not been spotted yet. Does have that Glacial Prison available. Cleanses up onto one. Shogun dodges out for the moment. And Unbreakable means they will not be able to follow up anymore. And XL just going to have to walk away with their tails between their legs.
Yeah, try to catch Shogun. It has to be the target because Monk does have that cleanse. So if you did hit him with the ult, just cleanse and walk out of it. But weren't quite able to find it. They do start to get control of this topside area, but crucially, the Dragon's up in a minute, so I expect to see these teams start to swap towards the other side. Inax is looking for the shove. I have no doubt that after that, he will look for the recall and then head towards the bot side to prioritize that Dragon. I mean, the tower's not there to look for, but I believe it's the second Infernal, which would be a huge pickup to take. And already you can see Inax and Kasing walking down. It is going to be an Infernal in 50 seconds, so XL would be doing great if they pick this up. They would scale so well, even without the double Infernals, but with them as well, it'd be in a great position.
Chib's taking a serious amount of damage. The group up is starting here for XL. Going to get himself quite a few plays. They actually might be able to get this with double demolish.
Yeah, I think they might just get it.
Wave's low, but they got 2 carries, so
yeah, and then with
ADs.
his shove in mid, there's no TP on Chibs and he's recalling. I think they're going to go the recall first because they want the item advantage. I have to expect that XL will have his Triforce off this base, and Inax will have his Infinity Edge. So they're going to be in a really good position to contest this Infernal that's coming up.
Monk chasing here with XL, flashes in forward, going for the aggressive play. Has that killer instinct available. Not going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, didn't have the vision there. Plays the ward, but it's a bit too late, and XL just gets out. But crucially, this gives MnM time to get pressure on that Dragon.
Second Infernal as well. It's a big one for them to get.
Yeah, it would neutralize that scaling advantage. So actually a bit of a mistake, I feel, from XL to back for the items and then have XL overstay. It means they go evenly on those Dragons, but XL have now
he's gonna flash, he's gonna get the taunt! Oh, Monk! The cleanse will do you nothing! It's the Buster Shot! It's under! Oh!
Not enough to take him down. He does get away.
I mean, that was an Inax fail if ever I've seen one.
Yeah, Shogun's like, yeah, whatever. My AD carry got away. Inax could have rocket jumped in, but didn't find it.
Shogun now just tanking up the way for the tower, gets taunted. They throw all of the CC on, and Shogun, I think that might have been the fail you guys were meant to be playing that on.
That was the Shogun fail. Try to save the tower. Just buy some time, though, and with this Rift Herald, and they're going to be able to push down more towers in the bot lane.
Yeah, do get another charge off, but the rest of the team grouping up, Sender doing his best to hold versus the Rift Herald. Not going to be able to Take it out.
Ooh, he just slams it. Could have been another charge and a lot of damage on that tower, but now Nolty has to be careful. He's going for this red buff, but he's getting collapsed on.
Absolutely as well. They're going towards that blast cone. Exile wants to try and pop in. He throws him in, but the ultimate's on. He's forcing the flash out. Exile goes over. Now he's in the cage, and he gets shut down. Inax chasing him forward onto Mummus now. Can they chase for more damage? The flash by Taxa and the flash by Mummus to follow up. Chibs on the flank is just going to go for the recall.
It's a 1-for-1 trade, but crucially, there was a lot of shutdown gold on Nolty. I believe it went over the Exile there, so this Corki already in a big farm lead, going to be very strong.
And Monk, in the meantime, will get a tower in the top lane. Looks to continue to get some gold under his belt with that double pickaxe and the BF sword. It's back to the older version of the Kai'Sa, where you get the Infinity Edge.
Knock on the Storm Razor. It does scale better. I think the 3-item, 4-item's better. The big thing with the Storm Razor is that the 2-item spike is really nice, and then you can pick up defensives.
And it's the Emax that you were talking about yesterday as well.
So I think better early presence, but I think Monk knows this game isn't definitely going to be one that's won out in the next 5-10 minutes.
Well, Sendo farming away. I believe that's about 160 stacks on the Siphoning Strike at the moment.
Yeah, did max that E, so not going to have as much stacks, but it's not that big of a deal. A lot of people like to go on that, I need to stack as much as I can. It's better just to not fall behind and farm, because items are pretty substantial as well. In the later stages, when you have more CDR and more CDR and more levels in your queue, you're going to pick up plenty of stacks. And you can now see from his build, he's very much committing to that sort of CDR focus.
Goes Sheen, so
10% the Sheen, 10% on the Kindle Gem. I don't think Raptor Cloak gives any CDR.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
I don't think it does, but it's built so infrequently, I wouldn't bet on that one.
I mean, we've only seen Kerberos build it, but it does show that he's really committing to that side lane with the movement speed around the turrets and even the dead ones.
And also, never going to complain about the armor when you're against an AD jungler, AD top laner.
And ADC.
Yeah, true. XL are in control here, starting to push up the pressure, having taken down those 3-out towers. And although a lot of towers are falling to MnM, that mid one is still standing for XL, which means they can't push things as deep. And the moves I want to see from XL here is push in, get vision control, and just get control of the map and keep scaling up. There's a Mountain Dragon coming up next, which is definitely going to be a big one if they want to secure that dragon later, because their Baron is very fast.
Yeah. Well, Mountain is spawning in 1 minute 20.
Right now, it's just control the map, clear the vision out, and have a bit of a chill time.
It's relaxed. There's been a bit of action. There's been a bit of farming. Sendo, mainly farming.
Okay, here's a question for you. Which champion would you most like to play in this game? Would you like to be the stack simulator? Like, if you were in this game yourself.
I quite enjoy a bit of Kai'Sa when I play AD.
Yeah, I really like Corki. Corki was my go-to when I got put mid.
Yeah, it's Corki's the mid laner I've just never really enjoyed playing.
Oh,
I feel like if maybe I abused him, I might do better in some of my games.
Are you saying I abuse him?
No, I'm just saying maybe I should have abused him.
I did, when he was strong. I remember like I'd be in a game, I'd get matched against a mid-master, mid laner, and I'd get put awful on Corki, and I would just pick up kills for free somehow from using my package, and then suddenly I'm like 5-0 and one auto does 80% of someone's health. It was beautiful, beautiful times.
Well, he's finished up that Triforce and the Sork Boot, so his damage is starting to spike. Probably wants to build towards that rapid fire cannon as his next item, get the empowered auto.
And then likely the Infinity Edge. The old Corki was very much Triforce's big spike. It's still a big spike, don't get me wrong, but Corki at 3-4 items is where he's just monstrous. He just shreds everyone, and it's so much harder to itemize magic resist than it is armor. Especially when you still have to itemize armor because there's Tristana whacking on you as well.
Well, Iceborne Gauntlet's been finished up for Sendo now, so not going for the Triforce, and this is actually the fight. Nolty already half health bars low. They're trying to get that damage on. He goes Golden with the Zonius for the moment. Shogun goes down to Taxa as Taxa finds himself a double kill. Meanwhile, Sendo being chased up by the Maiden. It's just going to walk away.
Just a massive mistake. Nolty overstepped, no flash, ulted really late. And there's no reason to be there. Contesting that vision, you didn't have control. You're way too late. The dragon's already spawned. You have to expect XL will be in the area. And just for someone who had such a good early game, is making a lot of mistakes.
He's being collapsed on. XL maybe getting caught out. Uses the Valkyrie to safety. Maiden starting to rip through him a little bit and just going to take it down.
This is the big thing, is that what a lot of teams will do is they rotate, not so much to kill the Yorick, but kill the Maiden. And it means until that's available, Mummus really doesn't pose as much threat to Sendo. So Mummus just has to wait for that to be up before he can do much.
Oh, okay. Apparently we have the winners of the Easter egg. Are we doing it now? Is it just one? I'm getting mixed messages here.
We don't have the name yet.
So we do have our winners for the Easter egg.
That found my face, so thank you for that.
I don't know why Mike our sound Book.
You should have spelled it B-E-W-K. Because that's how I say it. Book.
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 You kind of add an extra O in there.
Book.
Book.
Book. I like the kook from a kook. Book. I don't think I'm exaggerating. I am a little bit, but you know that's how I say it.
Do you have a Luke in your kook book?
No, you don't say Luke like that. It's luck.
Luck. Luck.
Like I'm looking at you.
I like that.
But you like that?
You see, this is the thing I miss about not having Tig on the show anymore.
This is the thing? I miss everything
well,
about
there's a lot
not
of
having
things,
Tig on the
but
show.
one of the things was, you know, we could talk about how he would say words because his Irish accent was very strong.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he'll be fine when he gets in the LEC because we'll be able to see him there, but it was nice to cast with him.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
You know. I want him.
I want him too.
Anyway, let's talk about the game.
Yeah, so big item power spike starting to come in. We see that BF sword picked up by Corky. So, I mean, can go towards that rapid fire, but wants that extra AD to really give that oomph on the auto attacks. Inax on 2 items. And Monk, quite a bit behind, hasn't finished that Rage Blade. And again, when you go this Infinity Edge Rage Blade build, the 2 item spike isn't the biggest. You're really waiting for 3 to put a lot in. But now, when they feel on the mountain, XL have a very fast Baron. They're starting it up.
Yeah, Ocean and, Mountain and Infernal helps them take that down. Voidseeker has spotted it out, and MnM are coming in. Nolties, pop the Predator, goes in with the ultimate, tries to steal away, but he doesn't get it. The Glacial Fissure is on, and XL are just going to step away. MnM unable to seal it.
That was so close. I think maybe if Nolty preemptively ulted before he got there,
yeah,
he might have been close enough to get it, but oh, that was so close. I think Nolty might have actually smited first because it went down to about 100 HP, and then Taxa got it. So I think Nolty might have been the first to smite then, but Taxa went out. I don't know. We might have to see a replay if we want to really get the ins and outs. But basically, the point is, XL got that Baron. They have a really great scaling composition, and they seem to be in control of this game, which is pretty uncharacteristic from what we've seen of XL so far in the past couple of weeks.
Definitely looking to make that return to form here for XL. Baron buffs on. Drake spawning up in 2 minutes' time. Want to double check if that is an Infernal? As Taximate, you're on a ward.
It's very weird movements. He's sort of like strutting forwards. Oh, he actually misses the ward.
How do you feel he commands his bear to do that? To kind of like stutter step forward.
Maybe it's like, you know, when like you're sitting on a chair and you're trying to move the chair and you just go like that. And he's like,
I mean, you're doing something that no one can see.
Like you shunt the chair forwards. Maybe he's doing that with a ball.
Might be. I feel like that ball is infinitely heavier than a chair on wheels. But XL found out by Monk here. Voidseeker is on him. Does have that package. Monk jumps in. And XL just jumps away to safety with a package. Does a fair amount of damage though to him.
Yeah, I mean that isolated Q, as well if you get a crit on the Infinity Edge, there's a lot of burst.
Oh, they're not enough. Take this tower down. 23 minutes on the clock here. Gold lead starting to grow more and more by the moment. 3,700 gold, and Monk has been caught. Cleanses on. His health bar's low. Buster shot's enough to get the kill. In comes the hero's entrance. Kasing enters into the fray. Health bars are still low, but the Unbreakable is enough to defend Chibs. And a pick for XL.
What a great dance from Inax. Love to see it every time. Manages to take out Monk, who overstepped a bit there. And now they'll just keep pushing. And I feel like there was desperation from MnM. They need to look for an engage, but it didn't really come. And Monk, who tends to be the shot caller in these late game situations, he was the one who went forward. And he was the one who ended up falling. Send up to the side, does take down Nolty. They take him down in return, but now they're just pushing on the base. They're going to end.
Actually just look to end here. Shogun's joining in. Turret number 1 is down. They continue that side shove. The Nexus will be exposed here. Chib's low already. Glacial Fisher has gone down, and XL and Inax are untouched in the fight. Monk joins into the fray, but 2 kills have already been picked up for XL. MnM are losing members and are losing hope. Shogun's low. Mummus goes down as XL flashes in. Monk is dead. The Nexus will follow. Shogun flashes in, but can't get it with the Winter's Bite. Nexus goes down, and at 24 minutes, XL squash MnM.
And we're finally starting to see the return to form that we expected from XL. They are actually playing like the team we thought they should be. It was a solid performance. There's a little bit of time where there's some life from MnM, particularly Nolty found some kills in the jungle, but from there on out, it was just clean, calculated, and closed out to perfection.
Last week, we had questions about how well MnM could close their game. XL could close their games out. 24 minutes was all it took. And it was like they were just stomping all game. It was fairly controlled, and great game for coming out from them, as Taxa is going to be taking MVP from that game, and well deserved. His Sejuani was fantastic.
Yeah, had a lot of control on the map. Crucially, won that 50-50 Baron against Nolty. That could have really turned the game around in return. Maybe have to question why they let it to get to that point, but they managed to secure it, and he was constantly on the map facilitating his team, so credit to him.
This does mean now XL are up to the tower challenge. We still got one more game, which is Diabolus looking to defend their spot at the top of the tower, but XL, I don't know if he's saying MnM. XL have been looking very good in their last 2 games today. That shaky performance yesterday looks like they've got that, or they've shaken that off. They're looking refreshed. They're looking ready to win their games nice and clean here. And Diabolus, a team who have been on the up and up for the last few weeks here at the UKLC.
This could be a big challenge for them.
This is going to be a massive challenge for them. They started the week versus Fnatic Rising, and they squashed Fnatic. Diabolus made them not even look like a second-place team. This is not the XL we've seen for a while, though. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, even the XL we saw in week 1, they had some really shaky performances. I think that's the cleanest game we've ever seen from this iteration of XL UK.
Yeah.
So if they can bring that sort of level going into playoffs, they could really be in a good position. And remember, all 4 of those teams, well, not MnM anymore, but XL can still take the #1 spot away from Diabolus. If they go for a perfect streak for the rest of today and then for next week, they could end up getting that #1 spot, that guaranteed spot at the play-ins for EU Masters, and also #1 seed coming into playoffs.
Well, step 1 is taking Diabolus off the top of the tower. So we're going to cut to a quick break. And when we are back, it's time for the tower challenge. Can Diabolus remain on the top of the tower, or can XL take them down?
Who knows?